What makes life truly worth living? For centuries, this question has captivated thinkers, writers, and philosophers. Among the countless answers offered throughout history, one stands out for its simplicity and boldness: hedonism. At its core, hedonism is the idea that pleasure is the ultimate goal of life. It argues that happiness and enjoyment are the most important measures of a good life. But what does hedonism really mean? Is it simply about indulging in every whim, living recklessly and ignoring responsibility? Or is there a deeper, more thoughtful side to this philosophy? To truly understand hedonism, we need to explore its origins, evolution, and relevance in today's world. Let's dive into the fascinating world of this often misunderstood idea. The term hedonism comes from the Greek word hedon, meaning pleasure. It first emerged as a philosophical concept in ancient Greece, thanks to Aristippus of Cyrene. A student of Socrates, Aristippus believed that the pursuit of pleasure and the avoidance of pain were the ultimate goals of life. However, his version of hedonism wasn't as simplistic as it might seem. Aristippus distinguished between different types of pleasure, valuing intellectual and emotional satisfaction as much as physical enjoyment. For Aristippus, pleasure wasn't just about immediate gratification. It was about experiencing life to the fullest, appreciating beauty, and finding joy in the present moment. He argued that happiness comes from seizing opportunities for pleasure while maintaining control over one's desires. This idea, often misunderstood as recklessness, is actually a call for intentional living. It's about understanding your desires and navigating them wisely. Another key figure in the history of hedonism is Epicurus. Unlike Aristippus, Epicurus believed that not all pleasures are worth pursuing. He emphasized the importance of moderation, arguing that overindulgence often leads to pain and regret. Epicurus famously said that the key to happiness is not the endless pursuit of pleasure, but the absence of pain. Epicurus introduced a critical distinction between two types of pleasure: kinetic pleasure, which comes from satisfying immediate desires, like eating when you're hungry or quenching your thirst. Static pleasure, which comes from a state of contentment and peace, free from unmet desires or fears. For Epicurus, the highest form of pleasure wasn't found in excess, but in tranquility. By reducing unnecessary desires and focusing on simple joys, such as good food, meaningful friendships, and inner peace, he believed people could achieve lasting happiness. This focus on simplicity and balance makes Epicurean hedonism an appealing model for those seeking a calmer, more intentional life. The evolution of hedonism didn't stop with the ancient Greeks. During the Enlightenment, philosophers like Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mill developed utilitarianism, a moral philosophy deeply rooted in hedonistic principles. Bentham famously proposed that actions should be judged based on their ability to maximize happiness and minimize suffering. This idea, often summarized as the greatest good for the greatest number, became a cornerstone of modern ethics. John Stuart Mill expanded on Bentham's ideas, emphasizing the quality of pleasure over its quantity. He argued that intellectual and moral pleasures, such as engaging in art, forming meaningful relationships, or contributing to society, are more valuable than purely physical ones. For Mill, the joy derived from learning, creating, or helping others has a higher, more enduring quality than momentary thrills. These insights continue to shape our understanding of hedonism in the modern era. Today, the pursuit of happiness is often framed as a personal responsibility. We're encouraged to seek joy and well-being, whether through self-care, personal growth, or building meaningful connections. Modern interpretations of hedonism emphasize not just individual happiness, but also the importance of contributing to the greater good. Despite its rich philosophical history, hedonism is often misunderstood. Many people associate it with selfishness, excess, or shallow pleasure-seeking. This stereotype paints hedonism as a lifestyle of reckless indulgence, where people prioritize short-term thrills over meaningful experiences. However, this caricature misses the nuance of true hedonism. Philosophical hedonism isn't about abandoning responsibility or chasing every fleeting desire. It's about thoughtfully pursuing happiness in a way that enriches your life and respects the well-being of others. In its most considered form, hedonism is a guide to living well, encouraging us to ask, what truly brings us joy? Critics of hedonism often point to two major concerns: the short-term versus long-term debate. Short-term pleasures, like overeating or overspending, can lead to negative consequences over time. Critics argue that hedonism encourages impulsive decisions without considering the future. In reality, true hedonism advocates for a balance between immediate gratification and long-term happiness. Philosophers like Epicurus emphasized the importance of choosing pleasures that contribute to lasting well-being. Ethical concerns. Another common critique is that hedonism focuses too much on individual happiness, potentially neglecting moral obligations to others. If everyone pursues their own pleasure, who takes care of the community or the planet? Philosophers like Bentham address this by promoting collective happiness. Modern hedonism often includes an ethical dimension, encouraging people to seek joy in ways that benefit society as a whole. How can we use the principles of hedonism to lead happier, more fulfilling lives? Here are a few practical ideas. Embrace simplicity. Hedonism doesn't have to mean extravagance. Simple pleasures, like spending time in nature, enjoying a good book, or savoring a home-cooked meal, can bring profound happiness. Focus on experiences. Research shows that experiences, such as traveling, learning a new skill, or spending quality time with loved ones, often bring more lasting joy than material possessions. Experiences create memories and connections, which are key ingredients of long-term happiness. Practice gratitude. Gratitude helps us appreciate the pleasures we already have. Taking time to reflect on what brings you joy, whether it's a beautiful sunset or the kindness of a friend, can significantly improve your outlook on life. Gratitude doesn't just enhance happiness, it deepens our awareness of life's simple joys. Balance. Pleasure with purpose. A truly fulfilling life combines joy with meaning. Pursue activities that align with your values and give you a sense of purpose. Whether it's volunteering, creating art, or building strong relationships. This balance ensures that pleasure doesn't become empty, but remains deeply connected to what matters most. At its heart, hedonism is about celebrating the beauty of life. It reminds us that happiness, joy, and pleasure are not frivolous. They are essential parts of the human experience. By embracing these values with mindfulness and care, we can create a life that is both enjoyable and meaningful. Hedonism challenges us to reflect on what truly matters. Are we living in ways that bring us lasting joy, or are we distracted by fleeting desires? Are we prioritizing our own happiness in a way that also contributes to the well-being of others? These questions lie at the heart of a thoughtful, balanced approach to hedonism. So, what do you think? Is hedonism the ultimate guide to happiness, or is there more to life than the pursuit of pleasure? Whether you're inspired by its simplicity or skeptical of its implications, one thing is clear. Hedonism invites us to think deeply about how we can live our best lives.